about some of the changes we did since last season, and then kind of discuss like our aero setups this year a little bit and the weight and whatnot. So,
do you want to go over a little bit of pros and cons with, I guess, our setups that we're moving to this year, as far as, you know, obviously, for example, I moved on to these sticks. They're a little bit shorter, so I'm not going to get as much length out of them, but that would be a con in a sense.
Yeah.
So those are things that we can kind of point out along the way.
Absolutely. You want to start with yours?
Yeah, that's fine. So really, we weighed out our packs. We're both right around 30 pounds.
Yeah,
right? That's what we were at.
Yep.
And that's including everything. That's the tether, our camera gear, our climbing sticks, basically everything. So I don't know exactly if I'm going to put this up there. As of right now, that's where I have it. I may be putting this somewhere else, but this carries my camera. You know, so I just leave it in there. Obviously, this right here is where I just have my platform hanging. I have my little hoist to bring my bow up. And then I have on here, just clipped to the side, and I got these cool little, I don't even know what we call those
gear
things.
ties.
Gear ties, yeah. Where I have my sticks hanging.
Do you know the name of your pack?
I don't. You know, it's not anything special. It's something I found on Amazon. It's one of the tactical backpacks.
All right.
Actually got it for Christmas from my mother-in-law, so couldn't even tell you. It's not anything special, but it's kind of what I was talking about getting, and they picked out a decent one. As of right now, just this front pocket here, I have my radial ozone. I got my grunt tube here.
Did you use this last year?
No, I just got this. Good old COVID. I went out and bought it, and I've been running it. Whenever I go into a new place, we went on a couple vacations, I'd put it in the rooms and let it kill off any of the bacteria and things before we kind of did anything.
Smart way of saying why you needed to get it.
Yeah, you know, it was dual purpose.
For the family.
For the family, absolutely. Dual purpose.
And then what grunt tube were you using?
I am using a Stinger ProFlex by Woodhaven.
Oh, okay, Woodhaven, all right.
Yep, just a Woodhaven, one of their custom calls. Just a little grunt tube. Works great. I got it towards middle of the season. Just a lot smaller than the other one that I had, and it sounds good. Oh, I got some milkweed in here too. Gotta carry the milkweed. In here, in this pocket.
Here, can you take this off?
Yeah, so it's not scratching up your granite. So in here, just got my binoculars, my rangefinder. I got another aider that I bought, or that I made. So this one hang a little bit more. I could probably put this one on the bottom actually. Use the other one as a second step.
Yeah.
And get up a little bit higher.
Yep.
Even more so than I did before. But I got that in my bag. I got our new Lone Wolf custom camera arm.
Yep.
With a little joy ball here, the Joby, which works great for the camera setup that I have. Doesn't have a handle on it, but when I'm up there, I just can maneuver the camera. This is new this year. We haven't used them yet. Really excited. I did a quick review on this just because of how light it is compared to what we had before. This is going to save a lot of time and a lot of weight. Don't get me wrong. The ones that we had were great, and they'll hold a house, but it was just a lot to bring into the woods. And I got some knee pads this year, so be putting those bad boys to use. I found myself leaning up against the trees, and I just wanted something for my knees, so we're gonna give those a shot this year. Haven't used them yet. Up here, got a thermocell. Haven't really broke that out yet. Got my buck knife. Gotta have a backup camera, or excuse me, backup flashlight. I gotta have my battery pack out there. just in case I got to charge the phone or anything else. Got my headlamp. So, you know, it's a pretty compact backpack. Crazy Ants. There you go. Outdoor gear. Honestly, I think it was found on Amazon. Kind of just looking around, was needing something. I haven't even filled this pouch yet. Probably throw some clothes in there.
Yeah. And so I see you have a space for a water bag.
Yep, if I want to put a water bag in, I can put my water bag back here. I do have a camel bag that I can tuck in back there if I want to.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great little backpack, and fits everything in. I'll pack all this stuff back in afterwards. We don't have to do it now.
All right, so the bag I have is a 511 bag, and it's actually way more backpack than I need. But with the old camera arm and everything else, I mean, it took up so much space. And so what I like about it, here's the cons, is that it's heavy. But it's heavy because it's made well. It's very durable. I actually do have my water bladder in, so that probably added some weight there because I got some water in it. But these are very, very thick and with some cushion. It's got really good support across the shoulders, and then you got a good kidney belt as well. So it disperses the weight. It doesn't feel as heavy as it is, but the bag alone, I have to imagine, is at least 4 pounds. It's got to be. It's a heavy bag. But the other thing I liked about it was it's got this kind of kangaroo pouch, if you want to call it that. But I'm someone who, when I walk in, I like to be as basically down to as thin as clothes as I can wear. You know, the thinnest shirt I can wear. I'm going to sweat, but I like to reduce the amount of sweat I'm going to have. So I usually, if it's in the winter, I'm putting my bibs in here and my jacket, and then I'm walking in with just some base layers on, because I'm usually coming in dark, you know, no one's really seeing me. And then when I'm leaving, I'm usually cold enough that I can just walk out with this stuff on and be okay. But in the front pouch, so basically once I do, when I get to the tree, I take my bag off, and then I'll open it up here, and then this opens all the way up. So I'll go ahead and open it all the way up, and inside I actually have my tether. So you can walk in with it. Most places that I'm going though, I'm gonna be back there quite a ways. A lot of times I'm using my bike. I have a QuietKat electric fat tire bike, and so I can ride with it on, but I just prefer to just put it in there. I'm quiet when I take it out. So I get that off, I put that on. Then I have my platform, and I just have a little strap, you know, just rope here, and that actually clips to the back of this, and that's just hanging off the back of me as I'm climbing up. Rather than knee pads, again, I had this Lone Wolf seat cushion, and I haven't been using my Lone Wolf stand all that often, so what I do is I just go ahead and just dual purpose this, and I strap this right around the tree, and then my knees can lean against it as I need to. That's just what I do. And the other reason is that now this year, the other thing, my climbing method is the step ladders by Wild Edge. So with the Wild Edge steps, I didn't want to have the knee pad, and then I'm using a nader as well as a swader. So I just thought it would be a lot right there. So I got 5 steps. I got the 18 feet today just with 3. And really, given the environment that we were in, if that was a hunting situation, I would have stopped there. But basically, all this is right in the bag, and then I would take that out. That's going to come out, except this would stay in the bag. The other thing is I have the camera arm, and again, we have the Lone Wolf Custom Gear arm. This alone is less than just the base was. And so I kept the same fluid head that I had before, and so I have the fluid head there. What I liked is I have this little remote. This will plug into my camera, so I'm using a Sony Handycam, and I can actually control my zoom and my start and stop all from right there, which I really like, so that I can maneuver it one-handed and do it and not have to really kind of pay attention to it so much. But that will stay there, as well as this, and I'll adjust that when I get in the tree. Let's see what else I have in here. I have so many, like none of these pockets are even filled.
So many pockets.
So many pockets. In the front here, I've got my headlamp, a spare flashlight. This is actually one of these kill lights. It's a green light. If I'm going in and I want to, and I know where I'm going, I usually use this green light. Animals aren't supposed to see it. I carry a spare Allen wrench just in case I need it. And then I have this utility tool, you know, Leatherman, that I have in there. There's been times, you know, something with my bike happens, or if I'm out there and I just really need it, I have it. I even have one of these flintlock things. Never am I really in a situation where I think I'm going to be stuck in the woods. We're not, here in Michigan where we hunt, we're really not doing staying on a mountain or anything like that. So
no, I mean, we're public land, but we have access back to our vehicles. And
and most places that, you know, within a couple miles of walk in one direction, you're either hitting someone's property or you're hitting a road. Then in here in this pocket, I keep my license, my tag, and I have some extra memory cards. I have my spare lock to my bike because I usually lock it up and then I'll finish walking in at a certain distance. In the front here, I have milkweed, and I actually just took an old pill bottle and I have it in there, and I just use some tape on it and just kind of throw it out as need be. I didn't even use this really, but I have one of these little can balls. Yep. So an old shell for muzzle loading still in there. Then I have my binoculars. I have a buck knife, so for gutting. And then I have this is just my power bank, so I can do a lot with this. It powers quite a bit. I can actually charge even an iPad if I needed to. A lot of times I have my kids when I'm hunting, and they have cell phones or iPads, and keeps them quiet, which makes my hunt better. And then I have my grunt tube, and so this is just a extinguisher, and it's one of these sliding ones. I like that. And then I have a little saw.
I gotta get one of those. There's been times where
and state land are not supposed to cut, but if you're up there and you need to trim a little branch, you know, I'll be honest, I do it occasionally. So I try not to cut, you know, anything big or major, but if I need to trim a little limb out of my way, if I can't just fold it out, it's easier. So, but yeah, that's that. As far as the hunting arrow, so I'm using a Victory VAP, and so we both changed our weight setups this year as far as trying to really focus on FOC and do a nice heavy arrow with some, you know, some fixed blades. So my arrow setup is a 613 grains. I didn't really set out to make it, you know, 600, but my bow, I have an Expedition, and I'm shooting an Explorer SS. So even at 70 pounds and 30, that's rated at shooting 355 feet per second. So this bow, I have a 30-inch draw, and I actually up my limbs to the 80-pound limbs. So it's humming. I'm not sure what it's doing as far as feet per second, but it's pushing this 613 grain arrow very quickly. The FOC on it is 18%. So I'm excited. So I'm using the Cutthroat cut on contact single bevel broadhead this year. So I went with lighted nocks so that, you know, I really don't want to lose it, because I want to have the ability to, you know, pass through a deer very easily and then find it, because I have a feeling it'll be buried pretty good in the dirt as well.
Yeah.
That thing's humming. So, but yeah, so that's my arrow setup, and
yeah, I mean,
bring to the tree.
I'm doing for my arrow setup. I stuck with my FMJs this year. That's what I've been shooting the last few years. A little bit heavier of an arrow, so my FOC's down a little bit, just because of the grains per inch on the arrow itself. But I think I weighed out at 610 grains. I'm using a 125 grain up front. I'm switching from, I think I had the, I can't even think of what they're called right now.
Annihilator.
No, I just bought the Annihilators, but I got 100 grain. I'm gonna hold on to those. I might put them on my son's crossbow and let him try them out. But I was trying to think of the ones that I had. Shuttle T-locks. So the last couple of years I've been using the Shuttle T-locks, and now I'm making the switch, and I'm going to go to the Black Hornet with the bleeder vane. So those are going to be 125 grain, and I'm excited to get those in. I haven't gotten those in yet. Magnus is still, it says that it's still shipping, so still waiting on those, but as soon as they're in, and we'll do a little video review of what the actual arrows look like. You know, I think my FOC came out to 13?
15.
15.
Yeah.
So it came out to 15, which isn't bad. I mean, 610 grain arrow. The FOC is at 15, which it'll still knock something down. I'm not too worried about them. Even when I had a lighter arrow with the FMJs, I mean, I went right through the one buck. Wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah, the reason for me that I was excited just to see what the high FOC would do, heavy arrow build. I have had in the past, I remember one buck in particular come in, I was using an expandable broadhead, and at that time, I think it was a Schwacker. I had one doe come in and I blew through her. I didn't hit any bone. I must have went right through between the ribs. And I mean, I blew through her like she wasn't even there. And then later in the season, I had a buck come in, and I remember I shot that buck and my arrow was sticking out of it. And at the time, I've always shot, well, I shouldn't say I always have, but for the last probably 8 years, probably longer than that, probably 10 years, I've been shooting 70-pound draw at a 30-pound, or 70-pound pole with a 30-inch draw.
Yeah.
And so I expected my arrows to all just blow through a deer, and that Schwacker, when I hit the buck, it stuck, and I hit bone, and it dropped the deer, but the deer wasn't dead yet, so I wanted to hurry up and put it out of its misery there. So I knocked another one, and I made a perfect shot. It was kind of, at this point, quartering away, and I went right behind the rib, and even that stuck in, and I never really went through it. It was sticking out of it. Deer extinguished quickly at that point, but I was shocked that neither arrow went through the deer. So then I switched to fixed heads, and I had a fixed broadhead on there. I forget what it was. I think it was just your regular muzzies, in fact. And I blew through a buck with that, and it was good. But then I started getting into and really looking at these cut-on contact single bevel. Started learning more about the ranch fairy. Yeah. So decided, what the heck, I'll try to do and focus on the high FOC, and switched up my arrows to the Victory Vaps because they're they have a very low grains per inch. And with my setup, I could push a 250, spine arrow. And so I'm trying that out this year, and I have a feeling that I'm going to just, the big advantage to it that I see is that according to the Ranch Fairy and according to the Hunting Public guys, when these arrows go through the deer so efficiently, what happens is the deer don't panic. They don't have that initial thump, which causes their adrenaline to spike and them to really just freak out and run. Because even if you hit that deer perfect, if that deer just had this big event just take place where it felt that punch through it, even if it goes all the way through, that deer is just running like crazy, and they can get a long ways when their adrenaline's pumping. So I figured, just given the fact, especially with the state lands we hunt, sometimes they border, private property. I don't want to have that, awkward conversation, especially if someone's a little territorial where we hunt, that deer's there. I don't want to have to deal with that. So according to the Ranch Fairy and according to the Hunting Public, and I've even seen it on some of their videos, the deer don't panic as much. It goes through them so efficiently that the deer, it knows something just happened. It heard the arrow, it heard the bow smack, and it obviously felt something, but it was more so like a stick poking it. It wasn't a big traumatic event. So it just kind of it jumps, it's startled, but then it just kind of sits back and looks and says, "What the heck was that?" And it kind of figures things out, and then it expires much quicker. Yeah. So that's at least what I'm hoping will happen. If I get an opportunity to double lung a deer this year, I'm hoping that it's a shorter track job. Especially, we're hunting in marshes a lot, and last thing I want is it to run 200 yards in a marsh. So
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fun. But yeah, so that's the goal, and that's why we switched over. It's definitely not going to hurt anything. Most shots that we're making here in Michigan, we're not doing any.
No, they're not real long distance.
Yeah, we're not
shots.
doing Western hunting where we're shooting 60, 70 yards. We're shooting really realistically 30 yards and in. You might be able to see a deer 40, 50 yards out, but you don't have a clear shot with the topography that we're hunting. So.
And I'm just not comfortable taking those shots, really. Like,
No.
I can do it when we're out 3D and messing around, but to take a shot at a live animal, sometimes I'd rather get a shot. And I say that because I've always had that shot 30 yards and in, but I'm sure if I seen a booner out there at 40 yards, I might try to.
Yeah, if it's
shot.
relaxed and it's and it doesn't know that you're present, it's not aware of you, and it's these deer they hear that whack of the and they're going to try to jump an arrow.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but yeah, that's our setups.
Let's kind of go through a little bit. I know we talked about like the pros and cons of some of the new things. With my steps, here's some things that I really like. They're much lighter than the XOPs. They're double step. I can't complain at all from the standpoint of the mobility of them and being able to kind of pack them in, and I feel like 100% I'm happy with them. The con is they're shorter. They're about 20 inches. But again, people were buying the old Muddies and just cutting them down already. They were modifying them, and they kind of listened and went ahead and built these. And I love the concept. I love the idea. Putting that extra little aider on there to give me some extra length, kind of creating an extra step is only going to help if I want to get high enough. But like I said earlier, I'm not comfortable getting up above 15, 18 feet. If I'm up there, I'm okay most of the time. But anything above that, I'm not comfortable hunting. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm really just hanging on for dear life. So again, for how I hunt, these are going to be perfect. With our platforms, we switched to this system. As you can see, we have a lot of the similar gear just because we kind of bounce ideas off each other. We fall in love with certain things that we each want to try out. But even when it's some of the similar things, there's a lot of differences in how we're going to approach it. From the type of steps that Sean's using this year to what I'm using, to how we kind of set up, just even our backpacks and how we feel comfortable when we go out there. I might actually wear my harness. I did more so than not last year, but I have the ability to pack it if I need to. So those are things that we're constantly looking at. I'm sure we have this idea now, and we'll probably tweak things as the season goes along, as we get more comfortable with the new gear. But I think we're jacked, man. This is all we've been talking about. This is all I've been thinking about. Other than the start to the school year and the madness going on with this COVID stuff, I'm dreaming about getting back out in the woods and putting the challenge forward and trying to get on some big ones this year so we can actually bring something home.
Oh yeah, we were on them last year, but we had.
I missed a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't even have enough time to really get it on camera just because of how we came in, and those are things when you're self-filming. That last year was really my first year of doing it, and it was tough. And I think that with the new setup and how we're doing things, and I'm going to practice a little bit more here in August and September, start shooting a little bit more. I might actually start shooting from the saddle, whereas before you do so much shooting from the ground and then you get up there. The angles are a little bit different. It's a change. Not that we haven't taken them from a stand before, but there are times where you're just in a weird position and you wish that maybe you practice that a little bit more in the off season. And we always talk about it. I'm sure everybody that hunts always talks about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but ultimately it's just we're out there having fun. We're a couple brothers that have families, and we just have a passion for hunting, and we're trying to get our kids involved. We made these videos just because it's a fun hobby to do, but at the same time it's going to be memories for the kids to look back on and watch and talk about how goofy their dads were, because we're here freaking talking about our gear. And
But you see other people and they have questions and stuff, and it's interesting to see what other people are using and the packs and the efficiency of how they, go about the hunting method that they choose to do. So I switched to the Wild Edge steps this year, and the big reason for me was originally we both talked about these muddy sticks and thought about getting a shorter set. But then as I came to think about it, for me was I don't dislike the sticks I have. The Lone Wolf sticks that I have, they're good, and they are relatively light for the length that they were. What I disliked about them were they were a single step, first of all, but they were a very
a little bit
shorter single step.
So like compared to the XOPs.
Yeah, the XOP has a nice
nicer
you have a nice
footing.
step. Yeah. So that was one thing I disliked. And for me, when I'm climbing, I do like the ability to try to, get a little extra height. And so what I found was, especially when I was stand hunting and I was getting my stand locked in, I was standing on that top step with 1 foot for way too long, to the point where I'd have to like take a break and come back down to the other step because I felt like my calf was going to explode. So what I decided is that I'm going to try these Wild Edge steps. If I dislike them, then someone on here can buy them, because at that point I would just put them up for sale. But I am starting to really like them a lot. I got 18 feet today just with 3, and so for me, I can get to 20 feet easily with 4, and I'll use that 5th one as a back thing. I don't really see myself needing to go higher than 20 feet, but if I do, then I have the ability to go higher if I want to.
What did I measure? You're about, each step in between was about 4.5 feet, right?
Yeah, and I know some people are getting 60 inches, so they're getting 5 feet per.
But again,
so I got to figure that out.
Depends on the person.
Yeah,
I'm not the most flexible person.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't really go this way with those type of steps, I was kind of worried about the Ader and Swader idea.
But even with 10 steps, you like, so if you didn't want to do an Ader Swader, if you did 10 steps and you just got as high as you wanted to get, 10 steps weigh less than 4 sticks.
Right.
Regular sticks. Now, I don't need that many steps. I have 5, and that's more than enough. The Nader Swader, the learning curve is there, but it's manageable. The thing that worries me is, God forbid, one of the straps I drop or something comes off, then it's gonna be stressful. I'll be able to get down.
I like how you had the bungee on there. That was a good idea.
I didn't put it on. Oh, the bungee. Yeah, that actually came with it. So when you buy the Nader Swader, that bungee comes with it, and it's a recommended thing to do to tie it there. And when you watch other people on videos, they have that on there. So yeah, I think it's. I like how I say compact, and a lot of people will say this is not compact, but I literally was telling Chad that I sold my original climbing stand that I bought. It was my first stand I bought years ago, and it was a Gorilla one. They used to be a popular brand when I bought it, and it was actually supposed to be the lighter stand at the time when I bought it. And it was 27 pounds, just that. And I remember we went state land hunting, and I probably had a backpack damn near as big and heavy as this one, in addition to the stand. And I remember coming out of the woods, and I'd have to walk at an angle, because I probably had at least 40 or 50 pounds on my back, easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily.
And I'm wondering, with our stands that we had even before our Lone Wolf and our XOPs, those are even like 8 pounds or whatever, the platforms.
I think mine was at least 11 or 12.
Yeah, probably right around there.
Yeah.
And then with us packing this stuff on top of that, it just, like,
I think
you get
we were
out
at
there,
50 pounds.
Yeah, we had to have been right around 50 pounds. I forget what we had weighted at. We did that before.
Because that muddy camera arm was so heavy.
Yeah,
and
we were up there, and we just both talked about at the end of the season, with as much as we try to get away from the crowd. We don't want the pressure. We want to try to get back there, and we've learned a lot along the way. And we keep talking about how can we be light and mobile, but carry the necessities and the things that we need. Some of them are luxuries. Don't get me wrong. Like, who's going to carry an extra charger out there for things? And
you don't need camera stuff. A lot of people don't need that if you're not.
But like, those are the things we enjoy. We're able to pack those things in. It's a couple extra pounds, if that, and it's well worth it. I mean, you know, now that the kids are getting a little bit older, they're getting into it. You know, they're still at the age where we're sitting with them.
Yeah.
You know, I had my son who's 12 now. I sat him by himself towards the end of the season last year. He was out a couple times with me, and we sat together, and I asked him, did he want to sit by himself, which was his first time. And I don't know if I had it on video or if we even put it on YouTube, but my man was watching a movie when I came back up on him, and he didn't even know I was standing there. So those are the funny things that, you know, you catch, you know, that I'm sure I did when I was younger, and Papa and Uncle Bill taking us out there.
Oh yeah, and I got so both of my boys are hunting this year. So yeah, I'm excited for the youth hunt and been doing a lot of scouting. We got 6 trail cameras out right now.
We got some good things on there too.
Yeah, we got some decent ones, or at least for around, you know, in our area that we hunt, some decent bucks that we would shoot at. So. So yeah, so youth hunt for us here in Michigan is September 12th and the 13th, and
October 1st.
Yeah, and then both of my boys have been, we got them a crossbow so that, you know, they're not going to be able to pull back a regular compound bow right now and kill a deer. So they've gotten good. They're good shots. So my oldest is 10 and my youngest is 7. And my oldest has taken 2 bucks already. He could have had a third, but missed his first year when he was 7 hunting. So the youngest is excited and ready to go. And
well, here in Michigan, we have that apprentice program. So like that's kind of how they're
mentored youth hunt.
It's mentored youth hunts.
Yeah.
Whereas now my son's to the age where if he wants to go out there, we have to buy the regular license for him, and we're spending the $55 to get him out in the woods as a youth hunter now, because he's went through this program and the hunter safety and stuff. And it's just trying to grow the game and have some fun with it at the same time. I mean, we love it. We enjoy just not even just the hunting aspect, but the preparation, the scouting, the gear setup, the whole thing that surrounds it. And then just when you're out there, you guys know how it is. I mean, it's just a different world. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our stuff. So, and then the other thing, I switched. I got rid of my Peep this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wait until we do.
Out, so I'm gonna do a little
videos.
shooting video on that and show you. I like it so far. It's good.
Yeah. So we're doing some tweaking to the bows. I mean, he bumped up his poundage. So we'll do another video. We'll show you guys kind of our bow setups this year. I changed some things with the stabilizers on mine. Switched to some custom strings. Obviously, we talked about our arrows. We switched up the arrows, so we'll go through all that in a future video and just kind of show you guys some of the new setups that we have going with our bows. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As the season amps up here, we're hoping to put more content out. But like I said before, this is just something that we enjoy doing. You know, we're going to put as much content out throughout the season as we can, but we both have our careers and our families that we take care of on a daily basis. So if you want to see 2 brothers having some fun out in the woods with their kids at times and just getting away and doing guy things, this is the channel. Subscribe to it and we'll have some fun. So thanks for tuning in.